Here's why you can't find frozen fries, while US farmers are sitting on tons of potatoes. I just bought some last weekend and the freezer was full. Flour was the only thing we couldn't buy for a while, but the grocery stores have started bagging bulk flour from the bakery to sell. Yeast was hit the hardest in Sweden. It has been so popular the shelves have been quickly emptied for a month. Now the craze finally seems to have subsided. People bought TP like crazy for no reason. We produce enormous amounts here. The suppliers just shakes their heads and sold more. I just bought some yesterday. I'll pay you $300 for them. Or 5 rolls of toilet paper. You choose. Frozen fries, as well as bags of potatoes in the produce section are in abundance near me. I don't know WTF this is talking about. This title reminded me of ads like why businessmen are sitting on insert country's GDP and how you can get some. But now why farmers are sitting on the potatoes. IDK kinda found this funny. It's basically a more sophisticated Ponzi get-rich-quick scheme. Only it promises you to get you quick money doing honest work. All you have to do is manipulate that potato market. Doesn't matter that there are tons of potatoes in the store, that literally even a mouth-breathing invertebrate can cut a potato in strips, and deep fry them. What matters is that the same people who bought toilet paper and now can't get rid of it now also bought potatoes by the sackful, and find that there are more American farmers pulling out potatoes than they think. It must be a regional thing. Here in Texas, there were empty freezer shelves for the first few days, but there are plenty of potatoes now of every kind. What is surprisingly scarce just this past week seemed to be adult bicycles. Sounds like McDonald's and Themes need to start selling a frozen version of their stuff like Costco does. Costco's food court classics like chicken bake, hot dog, and pizza all available as take-home to cook, freeze versions. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. 1. If their fries are as good as in restaurant, people will eat those instead of going out and it will cannibalize their restaurant business. 2. If they aren't as good as in the restaurant, it will hurt their brand. I've heard of people buying stuff like milk and meat, and even TP, from local restaurants because they have different supply chains. May not actually be legal based on this article, but honestly, who cares? It's like the white people in the US now going to ethnic stores, Pakistani, Arab, Chinese, Korean, to buy essentials. Those stores always had the essentials like flour and toilet paper but came from different supply chains. For example, these places will carry toilet paper from Turkey or China and are using a different supply chain and they are able to stay stocked up. But also many stores that sell only to retail and not to end consumers because their business has collapsed since restaurants are no longer buying have now allowed consumers to come in and buy frozen chicken in bulk and such. Why aren't these farmers willing to donate instead of plowing under? What a terrible waste when the farmer is going to take the financial hit anyways. Call people in the area in to take what they can reasonably use or move to donation centers. Because it costs the farmer money to harvest it. He isn't able to recoup those costs if he gives it away. He isn't making any money plowing it, just losing less. So TLDR is it's ultimately a failure of government. This does not seem like a failure of the government. Sentence 3 explains the culprit. \NGT _ how America's highly specialized and inflexible retail and food service supply chains are contributing to food shortages. These companies were serving the biggest markets and they specialized, becoming rigid/inflexible, to maximize value, dollar and time. The fact that a global pandemic that changed markets changed rapidly. It would be crazy to expect all companies to be so flexible. After this, you can bet food and probably retail companies will think about their supply chains, their flexibility as a more important feature. The government is doing what it can to ease the situation. It's myopic to drop the blame on one entity when there are a lot of very valid reasons why these complex systems aren't working optimally for French fries. It is absolutely horrible. The sad thing is it's not just happening with potatoes. A lot of fresh produce, broccoli, cauliflower, leafy greens, even certain berries, on the central coast of California is getting plowed over as well for the same reasons above.